Before I'd even finished my morning coffee, the universe decided to toss a little chaos my way. 3 police cars surrounding my late dad's cabin, their lights flickering off the water like a warning. All because of a bird feeder. Of all the ways a quiet vacation at the lake could start, this had to be the wildest. 1 minute just standing on the porch, half awake in an old flannel, soaking up the quiet, thinking about nothing in particular, and the next, watching a woman in a neon pink windbreaker storming down the dock, barking orders like she ran the place. Clipboard gripped in one hand, chihuahua tucked under her arm, she came in hot. "You're violating HOA regulations. Section 4B, unauthorized environmental interference." Her voice rang out so sharp it made the ducks scatter. Arya White, self-appointed Queen of Silver Ridge, didn't just act like she owned the neighborhood. She acted like she'd invented property rights. And then, of course, 10 minutes after her entrance, sirens echoed down the valley. Red and blue lights dancing across the water, turning a simple misunderstanding into a spectacle. Officers hopped out of their cruisers like they'd caught me running an underground birdseed operation, asking for my ID, suspicious as all get out. Couldn't help but smile as I went to my old metal lockbox, pulled out the deed, and handed it over. "This isn't just my cabin, officers," I said, as calm as could be. "Turns out I own the whole valley you're standing on. Nothing like a crisp county seal with your name on it to send a wave of silence rolling through a crowd." The sheriff squinted at the paperwork, the morning light bouncing off the gold seal. Confusion slid across his face, then disbelief, and finally a kind of respect that only comes when a person realizes they've been backing the wrong horse. "Says here you own the entire Silver Ridge Valley," he asked. "That's right. My father bought the full tract back in '89. Lakewood shoreline, every inch, all private." Arya wasn't having it. She laughed high and shrill. "That's ridiculous. The lake is a shared resource. It's in the Charter Section 7C. But the officer just cut her off, holding up the deed. "Ma'am, these aren't HOA documents. These are county records. Water rights, tax assessments, everything. Mr. Roberts here has riparian rights too." The color drained right out of Arya's face, and her lips pressed together so tight they almost disappeared. She doubled down, citing meetings, policies, the whole song and dance. "Then your HOA's been managing my property," I told her, "and I'd like that to stop." The lake seemed to still itself, waiting for the next shoe to drop. The sheriff handed back my paperwork. "Far as I can tell, Mr. Roberts, you can hang all the bird feeders you want, or paint the cabin pink. It's your land." For a beat, the only sound was the gentle slap of water on the dock. Then Arya glared at me, sunglasses flashing. "This isn't over," she said, gritting her teeth. "You can't just waltz in and rewrite the rules. We have order here. People respect the system." I managed a faint smile. Then maybe the system should start respecting ownership. Without another word, she spun on her heel, stomped off to her golf cart, her little dog barking out a protest as if it understood her pain. One of the officers smirked. "Well, Mr. Roberts, looks like you just declared independence from the HOA." I couldn't help but laugh. "Guess that makes me the first president of the free state of Silver Ridge." They wished me luck and disappeared down the winding trail, leaving behind a valley buzzing with tension, not peace. There was a secret in the air now, something was bound to break. Walked back to the cabin, gravel crunching beneath my boots. My dad's lockbox still open on the porch, those old papers glowing in the early light. Ran a thumb across his signature, Daniel H. Roberts, and finally understood the guarded look he used to get. This wasn't just a place to him. He'd been defending something. That night I stared at the fire and replayed the day, unable to shake Arya's certainty. She wasn't just power-hungry, she was convinced she was right in the way only someone who's never been challenged can be. Curiosity got the better of me. Drove into town, the kind of sleepy lakeside place where everyone knows everyone. Walked into the only real estate office, White & Associates, go figure. The receptionist stiffened when I mentioned HOA. "Oh, you mean Mrs. White's committee," she whispered. Turns out Arya had just taken the reins after the old HOA dissolved. She never bothered with paperwork, just started acting like the queen. Intimidation letterheads and a knack for convincing folks that her authority was real. She'd built a castle on sand and no one had bothered to notice. On the way back, any humor I'd felt hardened into resolve. Time to know every inch of the property. Dad taught me to read land, like a map. Ridge's old survey markers every bend in the creek. Most markers were right where they belonged, but near the creek, a brand new post stood shiny sign and all miles from where it should have been. That was all the proof I needed. Arya had been moving boundaries, remapping the valley to fit her story. Cataloged every marker, snapped photos, took GPS readings, logged videos. Uploaded it all. If Arya wanted a war of paperwork, she'd get one. The next few days, things escalated. Flyers with my name on them showed up everywhere, accusing me of environmental disruption. A letter appeared, $2,500 fine, unauthorized modification, complete with a pine tree logo fresh off a home printer. Didn't answer, waited. 3 days later, Arya herself was back. Clipboard, ready voice, sugary but steely. One last chance to cooperate before we take this to the county. Raised an eyebrow. The county already is involved. They confirmed my ownership. Her mask slipped for a split second. You're making a mistake. This valley belongs to the community. No, I said it belongs to whoever pays the taxes and holds the deed. She bristled, accused me of tearing down what she'd built. You built it on someone else's land, I replied, even and quiet. She didn't respond, just stormed away. Days blurred together. The lake wasn't peaceful anymore, just waiting. It was in the wind, the way the water rippled by the dock. Then hiking one afternoon, I found a fresh metal sign nailed to an old oak community lake access property of Silver Ridge HOA. It was well inside my boundary. I laughed, couldn't help it. Counted 7 more signs circling my land, each one a little bolder. Flyers fluttered by the dock, notice of violation, unauthorized modifications. At the bottom, Arya White President, Silver Ridge HOA. There was even a fake inspection date. This was never about keeping the peace. This was about keeping control. Set up trail cams, infrared, high capacity, tucked along the paths. That night, watched Arya in her pink jacket, muttering into her phone, pacing by my dock. The next day, another envelope, legal threats, daily fines, new fake counsel. Neighbors started getting flyers on their mailboxes warning them about the non-compliant property owner at Lot 3, me in bold. This was more than harassment now. This was defamation. Came home to another sign under investigation by Silver Ridge HOA. Enough was enough. Took the sign, went to the county office. The clerk, Morris, just sighed, "You're not the first. Arya's filed 6 complaints this month, all tossed out. She's got a reputation. Ran an HOA down by Copper Creek, got dissolved after she fined half the neighborhood into revolt. He flagged my file number HOA jurisdiction. Checked my trail cams that night. Raccoons, deer, wind. And then at 11:37 p.m., there she was, Arya, stapling flyers, looking over her shoulder. Clear as day. Sent the evidence to myself. My attorney poured a whiskey and waited for the sun to come up. Drafted a cease and desist with every statute cited. GPS pins, attached dates, times 2 copies. One for Arya, one for the sheriff. Walked it down to her place, her modern glass house glowing on the ridge. She opened the door and a bathrobe dog barking behind her. Consider this a warning, I said. Step on my land again and you'll be dealing with the sheriff. She looked stunned for a second, then hissed, You think you can intimidate me? I run this valley. You know every rule. I know every inch of this land. That's what matters. Back at the cabin, the sheriff rolled up. Guess who called again? He grinned. She says you threatened her, but your footage is clear. Trespassing fake, notices, the works. We'll be paying her a visit. Told me to keep my cameras rolling. And he was right, because the next day a drone hovered over my roof camera, pointed straight at me, Arya's sticker on the side. She'd taken it to the sky. Headed into Town County Environmental Office. Landon, the inspector, watched the video, scribbled notes, shook his head. She's crossed every line. Illegal signs, fake documents, privacy violations. Already tried to get you for poisoning the lake. With birdseed, he joked. We'll file an official report. But Arya didn't stop. Next, 2 men in vests showed up for an HOA inspection. Pointed to my sign, recorded the exchange, sent them packing. Then, walking the creek, found a dam, rocks, and timber wedged into the banks, raising the lake, threatening to flood my land. Another fake protected zone sign. Sent it to Landon. She built a dam without a permit, he said. This is serious. The county showed up. Arya marched down the hill, demanded answers. Landon told her straight, "This is private land, and you're in violation." She fumbled for papers, but there was nothing to show. "You'll be receiving a notice of violation within 72 hours, he said. For once, she had no comeback. That night, she came again caught on camera, ripping out survey stakes, photographing the holes. Didn't call Landon, went straight to the sheriff. "This is criminal mischief and trespassing," the deputy said. "She's on thin ice." But she stood on her deck the next day, arms crossed, drone floating beside her, defiant as ever. The realization landed this wasn't about the land. It was about power, control. Arya didn't care about ownership, only authority. Time to go on offense, called my lawyer, took it to court. The day of the hearing, the whole valley turned up. Arya flanked by her treasurer and a broker in her best suit. My lawyer, Mason, calm and surgical, laid out the facts. 260 acres, all mine, legal, clear as day. Arya waved her folder, charter bylaws, all on personal letterhead. No stamps, no registration. The judge shook his head. "Miss White, this HOA holds no legal standing. Cease all operations. Remove your signs. You're fined for the unpermitted dam." Arya was speechless. Her army melted away. Doug, the retired surveyor, apologized. "She told us the HOA was legit. Just wanted to keep the lake clean. I told him next time make sure your leaders aren't writing their own laws." That night the lake was still, but I knew peace wouldn't last. Arya wasn't one to surrender. Days later, a new sign on my gate: community watch zone. The outsider. Cameras caught her in the night yanking survey stakes. Sent it to the sheriff. Upgraded my lights, my cameras. Floodlights snapped on, caught her mid-act, and this time the law caught up. Criminal mischief, property damage, harassment. Word spread. Neighbors, the ones who once avoided me, now stopped by to help repair the damage. Doug rose, even the teens pitched in. For the first time, it felt like a real community. Eventually, Arya's house was foreclosed, her empire gone. Realtor called. Did I want to buy it? Signed the papers, turned her old house into a retreat for anyone needing peace. Letters started coming in, notes of gratitude, stories of healing. One woman wrote, "Thank you. Now for the first time in years, I can sit by the water and breathe." That letter went into my dad's old journal where it belonged. Spring came. The lodge thrived. The valley healed. Not from ownership or power, but from respect and freedom. People stopped seeing me as the guy who fought the HOA, started seeing me as the guy who gave Silver Ridge back to itself. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Not rules, not control. Respect for the land, for each other, for what's right. Sometimes the mountain decides who gets to stay. This time it chose me. In the end, people like Arya White, loud, controlling, certain they know best, never win for long. They build their walls of rules and call it order. But peace comes from respect, not control. Standing your ground doesn't always mean shouting. Sometimes it means patience, truth, and knowing time is on your side. So if anyone ever tries to take your peace, your home, don't meet them with rage. Meet them with truth. Because in the end, truth always outlasts noise, and peace always returns when the shouting stops. If you've stuck with me this long, let's hear your stories, your thoughts on justice, right and wrong, what it means to truly own a piece of this world. And if you made it to the end, comment, "The valley is free."
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video. Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.